Good morning, everyone. My name is George Uzoma, and I'm here to teach you social studies again. Now, to have a recap, the last time we looked at pollution and we also looked at air pollution. So, in continuation, today we are looking at water pollution. So, now let us look at the specific objective, then we'll get an insight of what water pollution is. Okay, so join me for a ride. Now, the specific objective at the end of the lesson, the pupils should be able to 1. Define water pollution, 2. List the causes of water pollution, 3. Mention the effects of water pollution, 4. State the ways of controlling water pollution. So now let us start. Now, definition of water pollution. What is water pollution? Now, from the definition here, it says that water pollution can be defined as the release of toxic substances that are harmful to man, animals, and plants into the ocean or into the water. I'll take that again. It is the release of toxic substances that are harmful to man, animals, and plants into the water or ocean. That is what water pollution is. Now, you can see from the picture here, can you see the chemicals that are being released into the water? Now, if you drink such water, it is harmful to your health. Are you getting me? Such water is harmful to your health. You can see the chemicals that they are releasing. It's telling you that this water is contaminated. This water is not safe for our consumption. Are you getting me? Now, the next thing we want to look at is sources or causes of water pollution. Now, from the image here, we can see that there are many sources of water pollution. There are many places there are different points which water is being polluted. Now, looking at the image here, you can see city streets, you can see rural homes, that's villages, you can see the farm there, you can see the factory, you can see the water treatment plant, and you can see suburban developments. Now, how come all these points are sources of water pollution? Now, number one, from the factory, when they are done using chemicals, right, the remains of these chemicals are discharged into the river or into the water. You can see it here from the pipe there where the waste is being discharged into the water. That is a source of water pollution. So industrial waste is a source of water pollution. You can also see water treatment plants that some of the water we drink, the water has to be treated, and they use chemicals to treat this water. So when they are done treating the water, the waste from the treated water is also discharged into the river. Now you can see our farms. In order for us to have large quantity of food to feed on, they use fertilizers on our crops, isn't it? They have taught you that in agric, that they use fertilizers to make our soil fertile so that our crops would grow, we'll have enough food. But now, these fertilizers, when they are being released on land, when it rains, water washes it into the river. And when it washes the fertilizer into the rivers, the fertilizer is made up of chemicals, that is phosphorus. This phosphorus now contaminates the water and makes it harmful for us to consume. Now, also from our cities, you can see that our sewage, that's the pipe connected to various drainage and toilets from different homes, are being channeled into the river. So when all these things are being flushed up from our cities, it goes into the river, making that water harmful for our consumption. So now let us look at the sources or causes of water pollution. There are so many causes of water pollution, such as oil spillage in water, refuse dumping in water, industrial waste, fertilizer washed into the river by rainfall, and sewage from our septic tank. So you can see that these are the various causes or sources of water pollution. Now let's continue. Now look at oil spillage. You know that today we use crude oil, right? We'll refine to get petrol and so on. So sometimes there are oil spillages, and you can see in this area there was an oil spillage that killed so many animals there. You can see the bird. Now, when a bird is covered with crude oil, we call it oil bird. Yes, you can see the bird can no longer fly. It is now helpless. Now, can you just look down a bit? You can see the fish there. Oh, that's the fish is also dead. You can see it was covered by crude oil. So you can see that oil spillage is also one of the sources of water pollution. Are you getting me? Now, from the next image, you can see a truck. Some of these trucks that do come to our estates, our homes to collect debts, you can see the truck is dumping those same waste into the river. And you can see that the last time I told you there is something about leathers, plastic bags, they don't decay. They don't decay. So dumping such waste into the water, it enters into the water there and it will contaminate it, making the animals there to die and making the water also unfit for our consumption. Are you getting me? So refuse dumping in water is also a cause or a source of water pollution. Now the next one is industrial waste. Can you see the industry there? Can you see the waste they are discharging into the water? Can you see the channel where the water is flowing and it's going into the river there? So industrial waste is also what a source of what water pollution. When they are done using some of the chemicals and so on, when they will now release it into the water. Now I will tell you something that happened in Japan around 1970 or 76, I can't remember the date precisely, but it happened around the 1970s. Now it so happened that there was an industry close to the river there. The industry was discharging what mercury waste into the river. Now as they were discharging mercury waste into the river, what happened? The fishes, they go close to the water there and they feed on plankton. So planktons are little, they are just like little microorganisms that fish feed on. Now, when they go there, the mercury now infects the fish. It infects the fish, and the fish will now have what they call mercury poisoning, or it will be contaminated with mercury. Let me say that it will be contaminated with mercury. Now, some of the fishermen, they would move with their boats there, and they will go to catch fish. Now, they bring it on shore and they sell the fishes to people that want to buy fish. Now, they now discover that as people were consuming these fish, they were having what they call mercury poisoning. Are you getting me? They were having what they were calling mercury poisoning. And they started asking the people, where do you get, as in, where do you go to buy your fish and so on? And they went to the market and they discovered that, that there was an industry discharging mercury waste into the water there. And the market was just close to the market was close to the river where they go to catch this fish. So you can see that industrial waste is also a cause of water pollution. So you can see that from there, they now have to sanction the industry to treat their waste. So you can see that industrial waste is a source of what water pollution. I'm sorry I told you this to relate. Now the next one is what fertilizers washed into rivers by rainfall. So you can see that when we put the fertilizers on our plants and so on, you'll see that when it rains, the water will wash them. When it washes them, it brings them into the river, contaminating the river with phosphorus. Are you getting me? Now I want to look at sewage. Can you see the picture here? It's the sewage. Can you see people, the waste from the toilets are being discharged into the stream there? So you can see that sewage is also a source of what water pollution. You can see in some areas they channel their toilets, their septic tank, their toilets to the stream, flowing stream. So when they flush off their feces, whatever waste, it flows into the river. So you can see that sewage from our septic tank is also a source of what water pollution. Now the next I want to look at is effect of water pollution. What are the effects of water pollution? One of the effects of water pollution, it leads to the death of man, animals and plants. Yes, it leads to the death of man, animals and plants. So if there is a crude oil spillage, every living organism there, every living thing found in that place will die. Animals will die, plants will die. Now, if man should consume that water, he will also die. So it leads to the death of man, animals, and plants. Now, number two, it makes the water unfit for our consumption. It makes the water unfit for our consumption. If I give a water contaminated with waste, you can't consume it. It's not fit for your consumption. So it makes the water unfit for our consumption. Now the third, it makes the water to smell. You can see by the time you dump dirt into the water, you discharge your feces into the water, you'll see that the water will start smelling. You will not be able to go close to it. So it makes the water to smell. Now, number four, it leads to the spread of diseases. If you consume such water, there's a tendency you might have cholera. Yes, if you consume such water, there's a high tendency that you might have cholera. So it leads to the spread of diseases. Then number five, it leads to unemployment, especially for the people involved in fishing. Especially for the people involved in fishing. Now, pardon me for my error, it was supposed to be fishing, not fish, please. Especially for people involved in fishing. I will tell you what happened in 2010. Now, in 2010, there's an oil company called BP, that's British Petroleum Oil Company, and their oil rig is where they mine for crude oil in the ocean. It exploded. It was a serious incident. There was fire. They lost some of their workers and so on. And they were now trying to control the spill. They were pouring cement to block the pipes and so on. But there were little porous holes which the oil was coming out from. And the oil filled the Gulf of Mexico. The water is close to the United States of America. The oil filled it. Now the people that they are depending on that water, on that river, or sorry, on that part of the ocean to fish, were not able to fish. They became unemployed. So you can see that water pollution could lead to unemployment. Okay. Now, the last one, it leads to the loss of resources in the water. So when the water is polluted, the resources, the fish, the minerals, you will not be able to go there to get those resources anymore because the water is already polluted. So these are the effects of water pollution. So now let us continue. Now let us look at the last. That's ways of preventing water pollution. How can we prevent water pollution? Cleaning of oil spills by the oil companies. So if there is oil spill, it is nice that the oil companies control it by cleaning up. Now you can see there are many ways they clean up oil spills. Like if it is on water, there is something like a balloon, which I should call it a balloon, they use in controlling it so that it doesn't spread. Now what they do, they set it on fire. They can set the crude oil on fire. It will burn and escape as gas into the atmosphere, which is also causing air pollution. But that is one of the way of cleaning oil spill. Or they can use detergent to wash. If it is on land, they will use detergent to wash the land surfaces. Yes, and also they can also extract. Yes, they have a machine which they will extract the crude oil and water, and when they extract, they burn. When they burn, the water will go as vapor, and the oil will now separate, and then they will now separate each of the components, and they will discharge the water back into the ocean. Now, another way of preventing water pollution is avoid dumping of refuse in the water. So we should stop dumping refuse in the water. Are you getting me? That is one of the ways of controlling water pollution. Then number three, in industry should treat their waste before discharging into the water. So the industry should try to treat their waste before they discharge it into the water. Then number four, the government should enlighten the people about the dangers of water pollution. Yes, it is the duty of the government to teach people about water pollution. Tell people that it is not nice you dump refuse in the water. Tell people it is not nice to channel your sewage into the water there. So the government should enlighten the people about the dangers of water pollution. Then number five, minimize the use of fertilizers in the farm. Yes, we should minimize the use. It contains harmful chemicals. In fact, sometimes the fertilizers even affect the food we eat. So we should minimize the use of fertilizers in the farm. Then avoid channeling sewage into rivers. Yes. So we should not channel our sewage into rivers. So if we can practice this, these are the ways of preventing water pollution. So I would say thank you very much for watching, and I also wish you a successful Salah break on Monday. So have a lovely time. Thank you very much.